And it was almost like, I kind of pictured my blog like a savings account. When I was doing nothing, it was sitting there earning me money. And then as I invest more in it, then like that rate of return just increases. So It's been, I feel like it is an investment. Like I could go out today and sell this blog and make a really good return on what I've put in.
Wow.
But I love it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pretty Focused podcast. Today, we are behind the blog with Holly Izquierdo from My Plant-Based Family. And I'm really pumped about this episode because I don't know if you guys have heard my story or you remember my story, but I always talk about how like this veggie burger changed my life and how I walked into a friend's living room and she had recipes written on her whiteboard. And I was like, what are those? And I offered to help her photograph recipes. Like this is, if you remember that story, I was talking about Holly from My Plant-Based Family. And it's just such an honor, Holly. You like our families have been such, good friends over the years. And it's just such a pleasure to have you on the podcast and kind of and remember, like pull back and go back to some of those memories. So I'm really excited to talk to you today. But why don't you start off telling us, like, let's go back to when you started blogging, because in my mind, you're like an OG blogger. You've been around the block. So tell us when you started blogging.
I have had other people tell me that I'm an OG blogger, and I think it's so hilarious.
How does that make you feel?
My 40-something-year-old self as an OG. Yeah. No, I love it. It's cool. So yeah, I started blogging where there were blogs, but it was not common. Like everybody didn't have a blog, and I started because we went plant-based in 2012, 2011, and there were no resources. There was like a few kind of websites, blogs, but like there might be a picture, there might not. Like it was like a dark cell phone quality picture. Like it was not appetizing necessarily. And there were like a few who were like better and maybe they had a cookbook, but like really the kind of food I was looking for, like I didn't even know what to search for. Like, like nobody knew plant-based diet. Like that wasn't really marketed yet. And so I was like, people would be like, what are you eating? Like, because they just knew we were weird now. What are you eating? And so I was like, I want to be the resource that I didn't have. So on January 3rd, 2012, I started My Plant-Based Family.
Wow.
And at the beginning, like a lot of bloggers from that era, because that is a different era, like it was kind of like journal, like this is what we're eating today. Oh, this is the food waste I had. Like this is, oh, my kid vomited. Like, I mean, it was like not high class, top quality because there wasn't standards for that back then. And so over the years, it's definitely evolved. And I would say, like, it was definitely a hobby. Like I had the free WordPress, like myplantbasedfamily.wordpress.com site, in the beginning. And it was maybe a year or a year and a half when I started thinking, look, this could be a business. Like, what are we doing here? I'm home with two kids, two like young toddler preschool age kids. I should be making some money for all this work.
Yeah, true, right?
And a big part of that was like making it look good. Like your blog needed to look good. It needed to make sense, but you needed good pictures because people would find you. And if your food didn't look good, people were not going to make it. They were not going to come back.
Right.
So that's when which I was not very good at taking pictures. People were not selling pictures then either. Like every once in a while, you might find somebody selling something not the quality you would want.
Right.
And then
on their cell phone.
Yeah.
Or their point and shoot in their kitchen at night. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember like the first video I made was like with a point and shoot for like a recipe contest. Like, there wasn't even good at cameras. I mean, there were, but us normal, regular people didn't know how to use them. Those were like the fancy, like people with lots of money kind of thing. It wasn't accessible back then.
Yeah. So true. I remember the day you told me that you got you hit 100,000
Yes. I don't even
I don't know
remember
if you
what that
remember
was.
that, but I
I remember
remember we were
telling
at
you.
church and you told me, you approached me and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to a celebrity.
So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to my stats just because I don't want to stress myself. But I remember that because it pops up in my Facebook memories once a year. So I don't remember when it was, but I remember you posted about it. I think one of us did. We were both tagged, I think, and it pops up in my Facebook memories. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
it
back
was
then.
it was so exciting to be a part of that journey. And actually, like, I was so excited about you and your blog because you're right. I mean, there keto, all of that, the specialty diet stuff, like there wasn't gluten-free resource like foods in the store. I mean, it
Yeah.
was and
Yes.
you guys had some serious allergies going on in your house. So this was not just like a let's try this. It was because of major allergies, which I know a lot of people can relate to
Yeah.
now.
And for me, I was having a lot of medical problems. And I think this was even before we were like buddies,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember like before you got married, we knew each other, but we weren't like friends. It was like later. And so in
Yeah.
2011, I was just really sick.
Yeah.
And I found someone and they said, if you change your diet, like this will go into remission. It was interstitial cystitis. So I did. And it was like a long journey to try to like get healthy. But like I've been in remission this whole time. Like I have not had a
Wow.
flare up in over 10 years.
Wow.
So, and that's something
That's
that
awesome.
people struggle with, but it's like, you can get better. And so for us, this was like, my quality of life was so low that like I had to change my diet. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like, oh, I wonder if I can make money doing this. It was like, I need to do this. Hey, how can I help other people do this?
Right.
And then, hey, maybe I can make some money being this resource.
Right. Because I mean, so having the stories and the personal diaries was so great then because people were needing somebody to relate to. And you really were able to build community with your readers and build relationships with your readers. And I think that that's interesting now how that's where it started. And then it was like, no, we don't want your story. We want we just want the recipe and how to make the recipe. So we like swung the pendulum in the other way. Right. And now it's like with Google's HCU, it's like, well, we kind of want you to find a happy medium of like letting people know that there's a real person on the other side of that. So it's like that balance of writing for expert advice and sharing those stories and making those personal connections. Because for you really were the expert in plant-based eating back then because there weren't any other resources readily available.
Yeah, a lot of them were like doctors. And so they were like giving you the medical stuff. But there were just a handful of people who were just like real people who had to work and had kids and they were trying to actually eat normal food. Like they didn't
really
have a
trying
chef.
to navigate this. Yeah. And then you started doing workshops too. I remember you did in your house and you did, I think it may be Lucinda's. I was trying to remember where you did an in-person workshop. I went and photographed it, I remember, but I don't remember the location.
I don't even remember that, but there's a lot of things I did that I don't remember.
It's been a journey for you. I know the last
few
years has been very interesting for you guys. I know. But I just remember those early days, like I saw you and your success and how cool that was. I actually started a blog
the weathered
because
palette.
of that. The weathered palette, it's still out there somewhere. And you know what? I don't think I've ever told you this before, is you told me over and over again how great my pictures were. And you were literally my biggest cheerleader. And because I had somebody in my corner telling me that, I was like, just encouraging me, I was like, man, I can do anything. And so I just want to thank you for that, being such a good friend and for being that encourager. Because I look back at my photos and I'm like, oh, holy heck, those are so blurry. Like, I mean, oh, you guys, one day I'll get brave enough. I mean, if you Google the weathered palette, you'll see. You can go see and you can go explore. But it was like, I think I was on Blogger. I wasn't even on WordPress.
Yeah.
But your just encouragement made me just feel like I could accomplish anything. And I think that's really where having people in your corner is vital.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I'd say even to this day, every time I get an ad for a new Pretty Focus product or get an email about a new thing that comes out, I celebrate because I'm just so excited to see how your business has grown. Like, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
you've done it, because it's not just what you're doing for you, it's what you're doing for the whole community of people, like all of these, women and men who are going through this and are now able to, support their families doing something they love.
Yeah, seriously. And, back then, the veggie burgers, and I was like, you asked me specifically, like, what did you think? And I was like, oh, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I wish I could do this for a living. Like, I literally said those words, and you were like, you can. Yeah. And it was like this, like the veil has been torn. My eyes have been opened. And I started working with bloggers. It was $45 back then.
I remember paying $45, and it's tough paying hundreds of dollars now. When I remember those $45 days, I still have some of those recipes on my site. Part of me is a little sentimental and doesn't want to take them down.
Yeah.
But I did recently have one of the recipes for instant. I think it was the oven Mexican casserole dish that you did for me. And I had multiple versions of it on the site, and I just had it redone because I have some of the pictures on a different post, like the Instant Pot version. So I had my photographer, Kelly, do the oven version.
Okay.
And I was like, just so you know, Melodee took these pictures, and she was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm redoing one of Melodee's shoots. But that was 10 years ago,
Kelly, if you're listening, God bless you. Don't judge me too harshly. That's too funny. I remember the Instant Pot ones, that Instant Pot Mexican casserole very well. I remember during that time, we even tried to go plant-based for 2 weeks. And Ryan at the end was dying. He was like, I have to have my protein.
He needs his cheese.
He needed his cheese. It's so funny. I know your husband just laughed at him because it's Ryan. He's like, give me my meat and cheese. But your Mexican casserole is very good.
Yeah.
And I learned how to make beans from scratch because of you and your refried beans. I learned how to do that from scratch because of making those recipes for you.
That's awesome.
I'd never known how to do that before.
Yeah. I still use some of those stock photos you made of just beans in a measuring cup. I still pull those out every once in a while when I need a good stock photo for something for beans.
There's a tip for you photographers, stock photos. Don't ever underestimate just good old stock photography because you need fillers.
Yes.
Even whenever I'm just trying to put up, blog posts on the Pretty Focus blog, which is, not monetized. I don't have any intention of monetizing it. It's just there kind of for, educational purposes. But whenever I go through and I'm trying to find photos, I'm like, I don't know what to put in here.
Yeah. So, go to the farmer's market. You and I went to the farmer's market and took photos. Those big walls of leafy greens, those are beautiful stock photos. I use those a lot, especially for courses. When I used to do courses and meal plans and different things.
Oh, yes.
I use those all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that. I was remembering that this morning when we went down to the Gilbert Farmers Market back when it was a little small thing.
Yeah.
And I just took photos of you going through the vegetables, and we just took stock photos of vegetables and stuff. And you're not the first blogger who's been like, I would love, just flour, if they do a blog post on properly measuring flour or, how to dice an onion. I remember I did that blog post of how to properly dice an onion. And then I was able to link it to another blog. I mean, I don't actually know if I published that, but that was my intent. I was like, I know I can do this.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options and things that you can do, but that's great. I'm so glad that you have a photographer you're working with now.
Yeah.
How has that gone? You've been doing this since 2012. Mm-hmm. What has been that relationship with the photographer? Why did you start hiring her?
So I've hired a lot through the years. And part of the reason it's a lot is because my blog would go through ups and downs based on where I was at in life, how much time I had to put into, keeping up with blogging and all of that. So I remember when I would pay, paying Kimberly $45 a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
To do some overnight oats or something. or some soups, like a pasta salad or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I hired her some, and then there's been a lot of others I've worked with over the years who would do a good job. A lot of that is you communicating your expectations. You have to let people know what you want, or they cannot give it to you. So important.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
It's very important. Yes.
And so, like, fast forward to now, the photographer I'm working with the most is Kelly Barton. And so when I first reached out to her, we do a couple of test recipes to see how we work together. And I do that with everyone. And there's been others who have been great. And I just, based on one thing or another, it was more my style than maybe some of the others. And so I remember having Kelly do a portobello burger. And when you look at portobello burgers, a lot of times they don't look like burgers. They look like smashed mushrooms. Yes. And so for that one, I was like, I made a whiteboard and I was like, this is what I want the recipe to look like. And I put on a bunch of like burger recipes and I explained in detail exactly what I was looking for. And she did it exactly what I wanted. It's on the website. It looks beautiful.
I love it. I'm going to go look at it right now.
Okay.
I feel like I've seen it come through on Instagram.
Yes.
And if I remember, I think I remember being like, wow.
Yeah. It looks good.
Look at that. Grilled portobello mushroom burger. Man, did she do a great job on that.
She did amazing. And there's been other things where I've given her direction, but most of the time now, because we've worked together we started probably around this time last year, I would expect. She's just done such great, consistent work that now I'm like, you know what I want. You can do it, because she knows what I like and my style. And that's because when we started, I'd give her a lot of guidance on what I was looking for. Yeah. Or I would say, hey, I like this, but next time let's, just pull back the picture a little, because I wanted a square Instagram, because that was happening back then. And now it's changed. I'm going to change everything.
I know. Now it's changed. Yeah. So I think that's great, because, I think bloggers will hire a photographer and they'll be like, well, they've been trained, they should know what to do. But it's like, but there's so many different specific styles.
Yes.
And needs to this, needs that you have, and a vision in mind. And I think that your good business owners, being able to communicate your expectations is really the best use of your time. Yeah. Because being able to communicate ensures that you're going to get that good return on your investment.
Right.
Right.
And if you put an hour into telling them what you want, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah. It's true. That's true. So I love that you have a vision board or a whiteboard. You have it all out. You have examples of what do you want it to look like. And that's honestly, that can be such a relief for photographers to be like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Because there's really so many different directions you can go in, and so, but I love that. Kelly is awesome. She's been such a great part of our community. So I am so glad that you have had such a good experience working with her, because we love her. She's the best.
Yeah, I love her.
She is the best.
She's a very important part of my team. And I do consider her a part of my team. Like, my plant-based family this last year, I bought other things in different buyers clubs. I've hired photographers for certain things. Like, there was someone who had on their website, because they had a blog too, they had a chia seed pudding. Mm-hmm. And I had an old, ugly chia seed pudding that was horrible, like gross looking. And I wanted it to be beautiful like her. So I reached out to Stephanie. I was like, hey, your recipe like this? Here's my recipe. Can you make it look like that? And she was like, absolutely. Here's all the different options. Here's a sketch of what it would look like. Like, I mean, top notch. Wonderful.
Wow, that's great.
Just very high standards. And I love working with her. So I definitely keep her in mind for things, especially if it's something, that if Kelly couldn't do it, because sometimes people have, like, if they have a food allergy, I'm not going to ask them to make a recipe that has that ingredient in it. I'm going to go with someone who isn't allergic.
Yeah.
common
Yeah.
decency,
Yes.
but
Yeah, because and you know what? That's a good note. So we have a lot of photographers come in and they really want to know the range of like, okay, well, I'm gluten free, so how many gluten free bloggers are there? How many like vegan bloggers? They kind of want to know that, like, how can like a vegan photographer or someone with allergies, gluten free, come in and do well in this industry? What tips do you have for them specifically?
So I know for my blog, so it's very strict. It's very minimally processed ingredients, and it's oil free. So, and I don't use honey. So I will be going through the Buyers Club, stocking it like I am ready for dinner. Like I am just looking. I am in that thing.
Yeah.
At least every couple of days, because I want to know what's there.
Yeah.
And if I see a recipe and I'm like, oh, that looks like it might be plant-based, and I click on it and it has honey, that might not be a deal breaker because I might be able to substitute maple syrup. But if it has the little honey spoon in every shot, I can't buy it. That's the deal breaker for me. Or if there's if a recipe, if it looks like they sauteed like onions in oil, and I'm like, oh, they probably used 2 teaspoons of oil, like that's something I don't have to use. I can sub that out. But if there's a big oil, like vase jar thing in the back of every picture, it's a deal breaker. I can't work with that. Or if it's a beautiful salad and there's feta, it didn't have to have feta, but it has feta. Otherwise it would be like the best plant-based salad ever. Then that's a deal breaker. I can't buy it. So sometimes I think if photographers stick to your original vision for your recipe, but maybe have an option without as much like extra stuff added. Like maybe maybe if you have a salad, but you just don't have the cheese on it for a few shots, and then add the cheese, that would give more variety. I would consider buying it. Or don't have, oil in the background. I know that, it's pretty, people love it. But for some of us, I don't know how many other people don't use oil. I don't want to say do it just for me. I have a minimal budget here.
Yeah, that's true.
Not unlimited.
That's true.
But
yeah. This is one blogger. But
this is one blogger. Yes.
Giving you like an idea. Well, like we talk about, like with Evergreen, like if you're going to do a Christmas, cookie with M&Ms in it, also do one with regular M&Ms. So the blogger can do, and it's not hard to do. You just split the dough in half and then add, you know what I mean? You don't have to make 2 different batches, but, have some with like the Christmas M&Ms and have some with like, normal M&Ms. And so that's what we mean by evergreen. It's something that can be used all year long, or in this case, it can be really used by any type of blogger.
Yes.
Having like the salad with feta and the salad without feta, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but now salad dressings. So first of all, I have questions. Yeah. Because I know they're going to have questions too. If you don't saute onions in oil, what do you use?
I do a water saute.
Water saute.
That's easy. Yeah.
Okay. And then you do, like for your dressings, I know you don't have oil in your dressings, but how would you say, like, if you're doing a salad dressing or like a salad, because a lot of times they'll do like the combo, a salad with the dressing. Mm-hmm. Is there any way that they can, make that work, or is that just, it is what it is?
Well, some recipes, I wouldn't ask people to like change their whole strategy. For some, like a small, it's kind of a smaller blog that most people are fine with their ranch. People love ranch, America's built on ranch, that kind of thing. But like I have 2 different ranch recipes on my blog. So if I saw a recipe for a salad and otherwise it was perfectly plant-based and would work, and there was some ranch on it, I would be like, that looks like it could be my ranch. I may not want to buy their ranch if it was like a bundled recipe, but I would be like, my ranch is white with little specks in it, just like that. That's reasonably could be the same as my ranch. Yeah. So I would consider buying it.
Yeah. So I think that's, what is important whenever because we do have, vegan bloggers, we've got health bloggers, we have people who, we have a really big macro blogger in the Buyers Club. We have, you're in there. We have those options. And it is important for people to know that if you're going to do something vegan or gluten-free or plant-based, to understand that diet really well, to know they don't use oil and they don't use honey and they don't use these certain types of things. Because sometimes I'll see like, gluten-free, or I'll see these types of recipes and it's like then there's something in it or that does not go with the diet either. And I think probably that was probably more so in the earlier days. I think we have some really great, people who understand how all of those diets work now, especially with all the education and stuff behind it. But there is something to be said about somebody understanding those diets.
Yes.
So you don't accidentally put milk in it without even thinking.
Yes.
It's
good. And I feel like now, like I just looked at the new directories and I sorted by vegan, vegetarian, because I wanted to see which bloggers or which photographers were comfortable with those. And I was like, yes, this will make things so much easier. Because I
love that. Yes. Yes, we wanted to do that because we do have we do have bloggers who are like, I want healthier recipes. And we have, photographers who are like, I'm, gluten and vegan. And so really trying to highlight those specialty, diets or, keto, because I know that's also a big thing. The high protein keto stuff is huge. It's like a phenomenon.
If I had a keto blog, which I wouldn't really know where to start, but if somebody had a big loaf of bread in the back, deal breaker, right? Like they can't buy that recipe, even if it was just like, oh, I'll just put this for a prop, that would just throw people off.
Yeah. Yes, it would. So, but I think that's great. That's really great advice for, people who are wanting to work with the plant-based and it's funny too, because we have photographers and I don't think Kelly is plant-based.
She's not, but she does a great job with my recipes.
That's great. That's great. Cause I started to say we have photographers in there who are not vegan and vegetarian and they're doing vegan and vegetarian recipes, and so there are definitely bloggers in the Buyers Club that have those types of recipes. Now, last year I heard that some of the health bloggers took a hit with the updates. Did you see that?
So I didn't feel like I saw as big of a hit as everyone else. Like, I mean, the social media was full of people like afraid that Google was coming for their livelihoods. I didn't notice that big of a change, but I think it's because I didn't write for Google and I didn't follow all the best practice rules to make Google happy because I wanted my readers to be happy. So I wrote for them. I wrote what they wanted. I would try to provide, some context. So maybe there was a little story. But mostly it was really helpful information. And that might be about like, if there's a chia seed recipe, then I explain a little bit about chia seeds and I tell them where they can find them. Like, here's a link to the ones I buy on, online. Okay. Or if there was some spice that maybe they'd never heard of before, I would mention a little bit about what that is or why to use it.
Did you have to cite other sources? Because
not really. I mean, most of it's stuff I've known. So if it's like common knowledge to me, I don't go look for a source for it.
Okay. Okay. Because I've heard like if you say kale is healthy, you have to like back it up with scientific research or something like that. I don't know.
That would be some of the advice I don't follow.
Okay.
So I don't get too bogged down. I just try to make sure it's helpful. I want my stuff to be truly helpful. And that probably hurts me on some page views and sessions because I'm not at the top of every search result, but I'm at the top of a lot of them. And I think that is just because it's authentic and it's providing like real information, not like, what a robot would write.
Yeah. And I think like, what's your take since you've been around since 2012, you've seen like a lot of ups and downs over the years and how people react and how people respond and everything. But when Google says like, write helpful content, bloggers like, that's what I thought I was doing. Yeah. Making sure I'm searching for keywords. And I can see where, it's like, well, people are searching for chia pudding. So why wouldn't I make that recipe? Because isn't that helpful? Because people are searching for it, So I can see like some of this confusion and maybe, for, bloggers listening or even, food photographers as we're, learning more about the blogging world and stuff. What do you interpret, when Google says write for helpful, like write for your people, write helpful content, how do you interpret that? Like, what does that mean for you?
So I will look at what it says or what experts say that it says, because I'm not always going to read all of Google's documentation. It can be a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go against my style and my values. For me, that's more important. So if I'm writing something that is helpful to real people, not just an algorithm, if it's if Google all of a sudden said no post should be over 300 words, then I'd be like, cool, I can write less. But I might need other posts to explain some things. I won't be able to put every tip on how to grate ginger. I just did a post on, it's not published yet, on how to grate ginger, because I was grating ginger in some of the recipes. Mm-hmm. So I might have to post more, because I would not be able to fit everything helpful into that, original blog post. But for me, I feel like I've just been doing it so long that I'm not as worried about doing everything right, the correct way, the way that, following all the blogging rules. I don't know. And maybe I'm not a good example of that, but I just feel like when you're taking a picture of something, you're you might see a shot that you need because something is just perfect, even though it wouldn't be a standard shot you would normally do, but it just, for that recipe, oh yeah, that's the one. That's kind of how I feel about when I pick what recipes to do next.
Yeah.
Or I was making lentil recipes before lentils were cool. Now everybody talks about lentils, they're trending.
And you're I remember making your lentil tacos. So
I've got 10 years of lentil recipes, they've always been cool.
Have you seen any of those go up on the ranks?
Oh yeah, definitely. And so I'm reach out to my friend Heather, we need to refresh this recipe because I talked about my kids and their preschool and their teenagers now. Can you, update it?
Rewrite it. Make it better. Yeah.
Then I go through, because the old recipes still are very journal style, talking about what we did over the weekend. And although that's out of trend, so I do kind of step away from that and focus on it being more helpful. Also, my kids are older and they didn't consent to being a part of my blog when they were toddlers. So now I want to be more respectful and not include them in everything. I ask permission if I ever have a picture of them, which is rare now. I'll say, can I share this?
Yeah.
Are you okay with it?
Yep. Yep. I get that look from Rowan now. He's like, don't share that, Mom. Do not share that. And I'm like, gotta respect it. Okay. Right. I won't share.
Yes, definitely.
So I think that's really great is that you're just you, right? And I think, I just did an episode recording with Eat Blog Talk, Megan Porta, and we talked about how there was such a formula that you could follow for Google to rank on Google, right? And so many people put all of their eggs in that basket. Mm-hmm. And, we're writing just to be optimized on, you're just to be able to rank on Google. And in hindsight, as I'm trying to figure this out, I'm well, what do you mean? Because it is helpful for people because that's what they're searching for. But I see now this balance of, especially with AI, mm-hmm. right? Of making sure that you are speaking and to your audience and making connections with them, because that's really important now more than ever, mm-hmm. letting your readers know who you are, that you are a person behind your blog, on your about me, and putting in some of your personality, I think is really important. And I think what's great for our photographers is they have a chance to kind of relax, because our photographers are also trying to figure out how to develop recipes based off of, key search and, or keywords, I should say. And it's well, I don't know what they want. I don't know how to, it's so much to figure out. And I'm well, just let's kind of take a breath and remember at the end of the day, we're photographers, and let's just do things that we love.
Right.
And then I think when you are doing things that you love, and I do think keywords, obviously, they play a strategy in it. It still plays a strategy. It hasn't gone anywhere. But I think if photographers can lean into what they love doing, then that's going to come across in their work. And I think a blogger is going to make that connection.
Yeah.
Too. So,
well, and I've had photographers say, like Kelly would say, hey, I'm thinking about making this recipe. Are you interested in it as an exclusive? Because we normally do recreations. And I'm like, well, tell me the ingredients. Okay, yeah, that works for me. And, so like she's not having to venture out and think, will this sell?
She just literally asks you.
She will ask me and I will be like, yeah, I want that. Whatever's convenient for you,
Yeah. And I bet you love having somebody on your team thinking.
Yes.
Ahead and thinking for you in some way. So your blog and your business looks very different now than it did 12 years ago.
Yes. And it has had a lot of ups and downs through the years. And I would say there's been periods to where I would be very invested in it and it would go up really good. And then like life would happen, health things, just whatever, I would take on a new job or at work. And so I would spend less time with it. Maybe I would just ignore it. I've had it where I ignored it for like 2 years. Okay. And I was like, and I would just open my Mediavine and I would say, okay, I'm still making money. We're good. Like I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then after like 2 years of doing like nothing, I saw that my income was about to hit my like break even point for expenses, which is like a couple $100 a month for like my newsletter, all my domains. Cause I have like, I don't know, dozens because I never sell any, all the other tools that I use and that I won't get rid of. And my income was getting down to that level. And I was like, okay, I need to get to work on this again. And it was almost like, I kind of pictured my blog like a savings account. When I was doing nothing, it was sitting there earning me money. And then as I invest more in it, then like that rate of return just increases. So I feel like it is an investment. Like I could go out today and sell this blog and make a really good return on what I've put in. Wow. But I love it. I love it just being there. I don't have to spend a lot of time. I've got a great team of people that depend on, I can depend on to keep it going. And I'm just like, in my favorite role is like the mission control person being like, you do this. And I just get to like arrange all the pieces, which is what I love.
That's my favorite. That is, you've bought back your time.
Yes.
And you now have another business that you've created that you're spending most of your time in while your blog is still going. And you have people, working on your blog and you're just managing teams at this point.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is so fun. It's such a fun place to be at.
Yeah. I love it because I just have so much going on. I don't want to get tied down in like all the details. Like I have like 4 or 5 blog posts ready to publish right now, just waiting. And I can just pick when those are going to happen. I told Kelly, I think this week, because she checked on me because I didn't email her in a few weeks. She wanted to make sure everything was okay, make sure I liked the recipes she submitted because I told her I liked them, but I hadn't published. She just wanted to make sure I was happy. And I was. And I said, I'm starting to think about spring and summer recipes. I've got a couple I'll be testing, then I'll send them to you soon. And then like with Heather, I said, hey, I could use some fresh SEO research just to see if there's something I'm missing. Maybe every other plant-based blog has a recipe that I don't have, that maybe I should have.
Yeah.
And if she tells me, oh, you need to make, I won't say what the recipe is going to be because I'm still waiting on her to get back to me, but I have a couple in mind. If I see that other people have those, I'm like, oh, there's no reason I can't rank number 1 for those.
I love that.
Like, I just need the right photographer, the right person to help with my SEO. And
okay, so let's get real for a minute because you came like you started hiring and you said you're kind of at the break even point for your blog, right? Why start investing in hiring a photographer if that's where you're at?
So I'm a big believer in investing in yourself and training in your blog. Like I'm just growing my skill set. And so everything I hire out is something I could do myself, but I would rather spend that money on someone else because I can make more money doing my digital marketing business. Right. Like, so,
Right.
so I still love my blog and I want it to keep going, but it's more cost effective for me to hire out. So it's probably been the end of 2023 was when I hadn't done anything with my blog for a couple of years. It was my break even point's about 200 a month, and I was maybe bringing in like 300.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I really need to get on top of things. I can go into Google Search Console and see what people are searching for, if they're coming, where my recipes are ranking. And I'll say, this recipe is so good. It should be ranking higher than this. It needs better pictures. It needs a refresh. Like, we need to get out that old, story about the vacation maybe, or
Right.
some of those I keep in there, but and also there's other stuff on your blog that you don't need anymore. Like that didn't have anything to do with recipes. Like, I used to feature a lot of different people, and we had to get rid of those. So for me, thinking my pain points are, I need better pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to refresh old content. Like, part of that was recipe cards. I didn't have a recipe card for every recipe.
Oh,
so Heather would go in and just add the recipe card. And
that came along later.
Yeah, that came much later.
That came along, 2016-ish?
Well, maybe? And I've had like 3 different recipe card like vendors throughout all the time as they get better and better.
Yeah.
And so I would be like, Heather, here's a spreadsheet. I mean, I've got a spreadsheet that's like hundreds of recipes long that she either updated she added the new photos for me because I can't pick because they're all so good. Or she added the recipe card for me because I didn't want to spend the time doing that. Or, all the different things. Like, Heather's done a lot for me. She's done Pinterest at some points and my email list at some points. I do both of those now. I would be interested in hiring those out, but I work with my people that I trust that, are committed to my success too. And if there's something they want to do, then I want them to do it. Yeah. And I want to pay them to do it.
Yeah. I love that. It's great. You're like, I love to manage, and I can do everything. Like, you started doing everything. You started photographing, you started writing the recipes, you started that. But as life has happened and it's morphed and changed, you really are finding the groove and the things that you love to do. And the whole goal is to create a life that you love. Right. Yes. And if you were photographing, I mean, you've talked about how it would be hard on you physically to photograph, right?
Yes. My chiropractor would not want me to be taking pictures leaned over, getting the right shot. I spend too much time trying to get my back good to do that. That's just not my strength. But the organizing it all, has been great. And what blogging did for me is it taught me how to blog, how to do the SEO, how to write concisely. And, many years ago, how old, let's see, it was probably like 10 years ago when my husband lost his job and I had been a stay-at-home mom blogging. I was able to find a job as a blogger for a nonprofit and do social media and blogging. And, that was because of the skills I made, like starting a blog and having to do it all on my own because I had no budget. And I did not want my husband to think I was blowing all this money on some new hobby, So I just learned, I watched all the YouTube and, all the free resources to learn what I needed to. And then over the years, I was able to just grow in that. So now I have a really successful digital marketing company, and I love doing that. I love writing blog posts for other people and writing success stories and helping nonprofits with their fundraising. And then having that business allows me to, my blog would pay for itself, but I don't have to worry as much about where am I going to cut even, this month. And then I can be generous with causes I care about. I get to, today's Wednesday, when we're recording this, every Wednesday I go help in our youth group, and I'm there early, and I'm one of the last ones to leave because I have that flexible schedule because I'm my own boss. Yeah. And I can build a life that I want.
Yeah. That's so great. I love that so much that you've look at what you've built.
Yeah. Look at what you built.
I know.
You're awesome.
Look at us. Look at us, Holly.
We did it.
We did it. we're here. I don't feel like I've completely arrived, but it's just like, look, it's so cool you just show up. And I think too, I don't know if you've read the book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, but you're already doing those concepts of buying back your time, right? Of I'm going to hire this out and I'm going to replace my time with something that can make me more money.
Yeah.
And then like you keep growing and scaling, but you end up creating that life that you love.
Yeah.
And so it's very inspiring to see and hear what you've done over the years, and to see that. I think it's really cool too that a lot of people don't realize is the flexibility. Like, you left your blog for 2 years, because of life, and then you were able to come back to it after that, and then like keep growing and building. And I think people who enter into this, because our photographers experience the same thing too. So people who enter into this world, it's like, oh wait, you really can have a job that you love and make money, and not just make money, because make money just makes it sound like you're just sitting on your couch with your cell phone, like selling leggings or something. I just have to, cold call everybody to see all from my phone. No, like this is like an actual career. And I love seeing how you've been able to, leave and come back. And even our photographers have been like, they've had babies,
right?
And they've had to step away, and then guess what? They can come back. Or it just is so cool to see just that. I think just that flexibility, because really we're all of like the same mind of wanting to be able to work from home. The 9 to 5 is not for us.
Yeah. Nope.
It is not for us. So if you are that person, if you're like 9 to 5 is not for me, and I don't want to have to worry about sick days, and I don't want to have to worry about, not being able to be there, volunteering at, youth group or in your kid's classroom, or like, if that's you, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Or you're in the right place.
Even if like sometimes tragedy will strike and like you lose a family member. Yeah. Companies might give you a few days off, but they might not. And you need time. So, when you are in kind of control of your career, like that's priceless. Like for someone if someone said, hey, I'll, pay you $100,000 to come work in this office every day. No, thank you. Not interested. There's no, it would not be worth it at all.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I love this. And that's why I say, like, whenever you said, and whenever I told you I could do this for a living, and you were like, you can, and my mind just exploded. It was just like, wow, all this possibility is here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I invoiced, no, this is in 2016. So I don't want people to think that, this is going to happen to you, nor would I ever recommend it to somebody. But in 2 weeks, I invoiced 40 bloggers.
Wow.
I remember going back and looking through my PayPal. PayPal doesn't keep records back that far anymore, unfortunately, because it would be a really cool like screenshot to share. But it was like in 2 weeks, I had so much work.
Mm-hmm.
And that first year I made more than I did as a teacher.
Yeah.
$45 a recipe. That was a lot of work. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend. You don't want to invoice that many people for that many recipes.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
That would be a lot of money on recipe prices these days.
Yeah. So it was just, but for me, it was so freeing being able to do that, and realizing that I just found the thing that I had been looking for. And I remember specifically praying, being like, oh man, if I could just, I loved blogging, but I just loved the photography and the creating part, right? That's what I loved. I didn't love the writing and all that stuff, and it was like, I loved cooking and I loved taking pictures. And I was like, man, if I could just have everything in one tiny, neat gift, and it wasn't long. I mean, I remember specifically that I think that was fall of 2015 or within that year. And that's whenever I started photographing for you. Whenever I saw that list of recipes, I think there were 5 or 6 recipes, and I took a stab at a couple of them.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I have found the thing. I have found my calling in life. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, thank you for helping with my blog. I had the best pictures I could ever imagine when you came along.
I don't think I would be here without you. No, I know for sure I wouldn't be here. And there's a lot of people, a lot of grads and a lot of students who don't realize that they're here because of you.
Aww.
So thank you for saying yes and for introducing me to this world, because it's been a ride.
Yeah.
It's been such a good ride. Yep. Well, Holly, it's been so fantastic having you on the podcast today. Walk down memory lane was so fun, and just hearing where your blog is and your business is and how you've learned all these skills, and how, it's so cool how you see the investment in other people and making that investment in other people. And it's really inspiring, and it's really cool to see. So thank you for hiring our photographers. Thank you for trusting Pretty Focused.
Well, thank you for creating such amazing photographers. Like, really, everyone I've worked with has been amazing. And I feel like it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, they're really good people. So I love them all. All right, Holly, thank you so much for being here. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of the Pretty Focused podcast. We'll see you here for the next one. See you soon.